Welcome to Dairy Delivery by the Dairy Star. On today's episode, we start in Madison, Wisconsin, as the first case of H5N1, or highly pathogenic avian influenza, has been detected in a Dodge County dairy herd. We speak with Dr. Keith Poulsen about the discovery and what it means for Wisconsin dairy farms. Our second story today is a twofer. We talk to a pair of farmers in different states who have their own Christmas tradition of lights on the farm. Next, we visit with a veterinarian from the Waupun, Wisconsin area who gives students the chance to experience a day in the life. Finally, we wrap up today's episode in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, where a baseball field sees a different kind of team take the field during the winter months. This is Dairy Delivery, all dairy, all the time. And we'd like to thank today's sponsor, Heartland Interpretation and Translation. According to OSHA, 1 in every 4 workplace accidents are directly related to a language barrier. Does your farm have the tools in place to avoid these risks? Heartland Interpretation and Translation Services partners with dairy farms throughout the Midwest by offering 24/7 access to interpreting services in more than 350 languages, certified translations of company materials, and even an on-site English for Business program. Having worked with Heartland for the past 4 years, New Generation Dairy says, since working with them, we've been able to break through a language barrier and create an overall positive work environment. Long gone are the days of procedure confusion or overnight emergencies, all because of a language barrier. Language access isn't a luxury, it's an investment into your business and a benefit to your employees. Visit www.heartlandlanguage.com or call 812-499-1696 for a free quote today. That's 812-499-1696 for a free quote. I'm Dan Walker.
And I'm Michelle Stangler, and we're your reporters with Dairy Star, bringing you the latest in the dairy industry, including hearing from farmers across the Midwest and beyond. I can't believe this is our last episode of 2025. The next time you'll hear from us will be in a few weeks into 2026, but a lot of holiday spirit at this time of the year. Christmas is just a few days away. Reflect upon a little bit of your time when you think about Christmas on the farm, Dan.
Yeah, and say we had a lot of time, obviously, growing up on the farm and doing different things. We would always make sure that, Christmas Eve was our big day with our family, getting everybody together and gifts and everything. And then Christmas Day was always making sure you wrapped up chores in time and you got to church. If you were lucky, you got to do stockings before you went to church. Then we came back and had a couple presents from Santa and had more family time. So that's something that's always been a tradition of ours, and something that was carried over now with starting my own family and making sure that we're spending lots of time together. So what about you? What are some of your favorite Christmas traditions?
I think it's definitely opening presents right after my dad would come in from chores, waiting until that very moment of, okay, now we gotta wait like a few hours until my dad would come in, and then going to church, of course, and playing some card games with some extended family members. Those all are cherished memories. But now it's just the balance of spending some time with my sisters who now have some of their own families. So we don't celebrate on Christmas anymore, but we do still celebrate in a little different way. And so that's what's special for me still with Christmas. But as you look at some of those presents that you've gotten over the years, is there one that is a clear picture for you?
Say one that always stands out to me, and I don't know why, was when Lego Soccer first came out, and I was like asking my mom and dad for it for I don't know, the whole month or however long I was asking for presents, and like that was the one that stuck out that I got. That was I think it was a gift from Santa. So it was really cool that it was one of those confirming ones when I was that young of like Santa, like I wrote it down and Santa got my letter and all that. So that was one that sticks out to me that was always cool. Plus it's still at my parents' house, so I see all my nieces and nephews. The field isn't the same. It's not set up anymore. It's all broke up because the kids have gotten after it a little bit, but it's nice to see that it's still bringing them joy and it's still being used in our house. So
Well, that's special. I think of the gifts I've gotten over the years. They were great in that moment, but I also think like the time spent with family now, as I continue to navigate this young adult professional career, just time off and to spend intentional time with people that care about you. I think that's just a special and a gift in itself.
for me too, getting a little bit older, it's not as much about Lego Soccer anymore. Still a little bit, like to get some toys every now and then, but more spending time with family and friends and being around people. But yeah, it's definitely more family and time association with it. All right, should we get into today's episode?
Let's do it. We start today's episode speaking with Dr. Keith Poulsen, the director of the Wisconsin Veterinary Diagnostic Laboratory. Danielle Nauman, our Wisconsin reporter, caught up with Dr. Poulsen as they discuss this discovery of avian influenza in a Wisconsin herd for the first time.
Kind of the most important talking points that we can go through a little bit more, but is that dairy products are safe. Pasteurization is 100% effective. That's the most important part. The second part is that national milk testing strategy and the system that Wisconsin built is working and is critical to continue to monitor. So that's important, and that's how we found it. And then the third part is that we have a huge infrastructure to be able to understand more about what's going on. How can we manage it? And there are a lot of people. We happen to be in a dairy state with the best veterinarians and scientists in the world. So there's a lot going on. I think DATCAP and USDA have been burning the midnight oil along with the lab here. And we're communicating with veterinarians and making sure people have the right information. And with that is don't panic. We're on it. We're working on it, and we're getting information very, very quickly to understand how best to manage it. We've been a leader in this response for almost 2 years now, so we have a lot of experience. It is unfortunate that we found it in Wisconsin, but that's the whole purpose of surveillance, is to understand this more to prevent, potential negative consequences in the future. So, because we really need to, make evidence-based decisions, and the epidemiology of what we really have, we need more information to make sure that DATCAP is, they have the risk-based plan in place, right? We can't test everything every day. That's not a good use of resources. So I don't know what will happen there. I think that's really what, additional surveillance data that's already collected, and then really working with animal health and the food safety side of DATCAP, Adam Brock and Darlene Conkle, along with Secretary Romansky. We meet on a regular basis. Now it's every day of, okay, what do we know and what can we do forward? So I think Wisconsin dairy and the Wisconsin and the public really they should know that there's a lot of people there, and there's very little risk to public health. We just want to make sure we know what we're dealing with, and then we can respond appropriately. And we just don't want people to panic. Talking to the farm, we're reaching out to the herd veterinarian. I've spent a lot of time talking with the herd veterinarians. The Wisconsin Veterinary Medical Association will have a question and answer webinar this week when, we really need to know more about the sequence so we can kind of get better guidance. Right now, I think the best guidance is, other than the 3 points I gave you for farms and veterinarians, is to look at National Milk Producers Federation, their H5N1 biosecurity guidance. Okay. They kind of boil down biosecurity into 7 big points. And I think definitely call your veterinarian and talk about how could we implement clean boots, shoes, and clothes on the farm, which can be challenging. And then how do you control traffic on and off the farm, just so you know who's there and you can mitigate risks. So the best example I have is, the Amazon truck does not need to drop off in the parlor. They can go to the house, right? Or they can go to the owner's house off site, or they can go to a pickup spot. But, that's a little bit more challenging when you're talking about the hoof trimmer that really needs to be in the barn. So, those are the things that really need to talk to your veterinarian about. Cheesemakers has a lot of information on their website. So does DATCAP and Dairy Business Association.
At Heartland Interpretation and Translation Services, their mission is to expand access to communication, providing opportunities for growth within the community and supporting local businesses through premium language services. Their services include spoken language interpreting in more than 350 languages, including Spanish, Haitian Creole, and Marshallese, They also offer certified document translations and corporate language training. Visit www.heartlandlanguage.com to bridge the communication gap today. Read about the detection of avian influenza under the headline H5N1, highly pathogenic avian influenza detected in Wisconsin herd on dairystar.com. Our next story is we feature a pair of farmers who have welcomed the public to their farm for Christmas experiences. We'll start with Stacy Smart, who visited with Jackie Mogenberg, who offers sleigh rides at their farm through trails illuminated for the Christmas season. Amy Kylo spoke with Sarah Hewitt, who decorates her farm with 8-foot wooden structures, all with a Christmas theme, and offers a 3/4 mile drive for visitors to experience Christmas on the farm. Let's hear from Stacy and Jackie Mogenberg first.
Jackie, can you tell me about the winter sleigh rides that your family provides?
Yeah, about 6 years ago, we bought a team of Percheron horses and the wagons and sleighs to go with them to offer an old-fashioned sleigh ride on our family farm. And it has been such a magical experience for not only our customers, but also our family as well. And we love being able to offer this unique experience. It's only offered at night because we go through trails that are lit with Christmas lights.
That sounds really beautiful and a really special experience. And so how many nights per year do you offer this?
Depending on the year, we'll do 11 to 13 public nights where people can purchase tickets and come out for their ride. We always do Friday and Saturdays in December and the first week of January, and then we'll do a couple weeknights leading up to Christmas as well.
And you were blessed with snowfall this year for your first ride, right? You guys got like a foot of snow a week before. How was that experience for everyone?
That was magical. It is very rare for us to use the actual sleigh. So this year we're super excited to be able to use the sleigh for the first weekend and hopefully multiple nights after that as well. Like I said, we typically use the wagon, so to be able to use the sleigh just adds a whole different level of ambiance and magic to the evening.
I bet it does. And what else is included with the sleigh ride?
Yeah, so people can come into our warming barn, and we have a photo area, we have straw bale couch, we have old-fashioned games like big checkers, we have puzzles and card games they can play, and then we also have a bonfire area. So we encourage people to come early and stay late, and while they're in the warming barn, they can have popcorn, hot chocolate, and hot cider as well.
Nice. And what led your family to start offering sleigh rides?
Yeah, so Rodens Barnyard Adventures is the agritourism business on our family's farm, and we do farm camps, farm tours, and birthday parties very seasonally, spring to fall, and we felt like offering these horse-drawn sleigh rides would be a way to get people onto the farm in the winter season. And it's really, like I said, it's brought a lot of joy, not only to the community, but to our family as well. We love being able to bring people out here for the Christmas season and share our family farm with them as well.
And there's a rather large light display connected to the sleigh ride. Is that right?
Correct. My husband puts in numerous hours hanging all the lights throughout the year. We typically start in early October, and there's about 40 acres of woods that we'll decorate with lights.
Wow. And so it sounds like you've had a really good reception from the community in starting this sleigh ride and even beyond, right? Do you have people come from all over to participate?
Yeah, we've had quite a few people come from the Chicago area. They'll come up here for a ride. Actually, our first night this year, we had people come from Pennsylvania. Maybe they're visiting family. I actually just got an email that someone's coming from Australia wants to come out. I mean, that's very rare, but it's cool that they find that this is a unique Wisconsin experience, and especially being on a dairy farm, which is very unique to Wisconsin. They can kind of explore all the wonderful things about a Wisconsin winter.
Now let's head over to Minnesota to hear from Amy and Sarah Hewitt.
Tell me just a little bit, Sarah and Janet, about the Christmas light display on your family farm.
So our display is 17 years old, and this year is the 10th year of Santa on the farm. So we transform our farm into a winter wonderland where people can drive through. It's a 3/4 mile drive through, and as you drive through, it's a combination dairy experience and trip down memory lane through Christmas movies. So we have decorations that I have handmade, and you drive through vignettes of different Christmas movies. And interspersed throughout the way, we collect donations for our local food shelf. When Santa on the Farm is happening, we have a special pen outside with baby calves, and we're fortunate enough to have Princess K of the Milky Way come to answer guest questions about cows. We also have a station with Santa and Mrs. Claus, so every kid that comes gets a special present from Santa and Mrs. Claus. And then as you progress through further, of course, you're seeing lots and lots of decorations, but then there's also a stop before you leave, and everybody gets milk and cookies. And because we're in a very generous community, we're able to do this free of charge for families. So we are open for 2 hours that night, on top of being open 7 days a week from dusk until 10 p.m. Anybody can come, but we do one special night where we're able to support our food shelf, but also give surprises to our community and help them learn about our farm.
Wow, that sounds really, really cool. Tell me, Sarah, a little bit. So you have this really huge display. Tell me about, you said it's been going on for 17 years. Tell me about how it started and then kind of how it's developed since then to what it is today.
So the very first year started because I got stuck in a snowstorm. So I was away from home, and all of a sudden it wasn't as safe as I appreciate it for traveling the rest of the way home. So I pulled off and I ended up in a store, and I was stuck in there for quite some time waiting for the storm to pass. And so the I don't know, the boredom or the excitement started to go through me, and I grabbed a cart and I started putting in Christmas decorations. And the very first year, I brought home some things to decorate my parents' front yard because at that point, I was still living with them. And my grandparents, who were another house on the farm, said they wanted that next year. So it kind of became a game every year where my mom and I would go after Christmas and look for deals. And about 7 years ago, it dawned on me that a lot of the store-made decorations aren't big enough for little kids to see when they're in the car without unbuckling and standing up on their seats. And I myself really enjoy painting and woodworking, so I combine those two together. And now I've transitioned. All of the decorations in our display are handmade by me, and they're all 8 feet tall. And like I said, it's vignettes from Christmas movies. I've taken parts from Christmas carols, and then I've also made some custom designs. Like there's gingerbread houses that, if you know our families, the gingerbread people have hints in their decorations as to who the member of Bramer Farms is on that gingerbread person. So it's totally evolved from a mass-produced inflatable and wireframe piece to now everything is custom, and you will only see it in our display.
Customize your translation services to fit your needs. Whether you're looking for in-person services in Heartland's area or needing a remote video call, Heartland Interpretation and Translation Services is here for you. Need assistance immediately? The 24/7 interpretation helpline is available over the phone or on video chat. With over 350 spoken languages, you can get your answers promptly. Visit www.heartlandlanguage.com or call 812-499-1696 for a free quote today. That's 812-499-1696 for a free quote.
Read all about those holiday stories on dairystar.com. The Hewitt story is titled A Handmade Winter Wonderland. The Mogenborg story is titled A Magical Winter Wonderland. And it sure is still here with snow on the ground. Next up, I had the chance to talk with Nick Mayer, DVM of Waupun Veterinary Services. Mayer and his team offer experiences for prospective veterinary students to learn on the job, offering day-in-the-life experiences through ride-alongs, week-long externships, and some internships. Let's hear from him as we discuss the program that Waupun Veterinary Services has set up.
I know every day is probably different for a student, but what are some of those things that you do teach them or they often see?
Yeah, so every day is a bit different. We as mostly dairy practitioners still do a majority of our work that's scheduled is like routine herd health work. And it's usually us doing like reproductive work, so diagnosing diagnosing open cows, trying to get cows pregnant if we can. So that's kind of the routine side of things that those students get to experience while riding along with us. That involves them, meeting us, getting in the truck with us, driving to the farm and back from the farm. That's a great opportunity for us to, have these conversations in depth. Hey, where's your passion at? What really interests you within our industry? Because we're not just, cow docs. Or, there's a lot of different caveats that students can have interest in. Maybe it's calf health, or maybe it's advanced repro, or something along those lines. So the routine aspect of that is part of our day. But then in addition to that, we also get, emergency work, cows off feed. And that's the cool things for students to experience, because that's probably where those skills they need to pick up that they might not have had a whole lot of exposure to through vet school. So, that can be something like, having a difficult calving, or going and seeing a cow that's off feed that might have a DA, and now we need to do a surgery on her to correct the DA. That's kind of like the non-routine portion of our mentorship program. That's a lot of fun, and students probably get the most enjoyment out of is, seeing that side of things.
So what do the students teach you, would you say?
Oh, that's a great question. So first thing is, pretty much all these students are coming from really forward-thinking and progressive colleges, right? Institutions where there's, current cutting-edge research going on, different ideas. For example, this is a couple years back, but let's talk about University of Wisconsin, the vet school there. For example, they really are forward leading in calf lung ultrasounding. So taking these calves on milk and using ultrasound to diagnose subclinical pneumonia on them. Those students come to our practice. For example, some of those UW students come to our practice and they actually have a course on this, and they bring that knowledge and that information and different things that they're learning about how to incorporate, that modality of diagnostics. And they bring that to our clinic. So students are good because they bring a lot of that college research and new ideas and thoughts to our clinic. They also, like I said, just bring that excitement, which is really enjoyable. That passion to want to learn and experience new things. I think they also remind us that, we were all in their shoes at one point, and, had humble beginnings where we didn't maybe know everything yet. And it's a good thing for us to be reminded that, we were all student at one point too, and needed to learn. So I think that's one thing they do a great job teaching us, keeping us humble and encouraging us to continue to find passion within what we do.
To provide some kind of scope and size, are you having students weekly come with you, or what's the demand there?
Yeah. So just with high school students, undergrad students, vet students on externship. So externship is the fourth year or clinical year of vet school, and most vet schools run all their programs the same. So your fourth year, your full calendar year, right before you graduate, those students are looking for clinics to come out to and spend a week or two. So we have over 5 extern students each year. Those students come to our clinic. Like I said, they typically spend 1 to 2 weeks with us. Typically, we provide housing, so a lot of times they'll actually either stay with the doctor, or we have a client close to our clinic that is really happy hosting students. Or worst comes to worst, we will put the students up in a hotel. But those students spend the full 2 weeks with us, and they're riding with a different doctor every day of the week. And, riding in the truck, shadowing them, doing pretty much everything that doctor is doing right there. Outside of our externs, and we have, like I said, our 2 summer interns. Our 2 summer interns, we host 2 of them. That program is 4 weeks in total. And that's really targeted to take that first or second year vet student and kind of get them exposed to what a large animal, predominantly cattle focused practice looks like us. In addition to that, when they spend their summer internship with us, they also focus on a research project. So we have them look at something that's important to the other doctors at the clinic or something that piques their interest. For example, one of our summer interns last year was from Iowa State. His name was Shaden. He looked at using Power BI, so a really intelligent computing program to look at farm data and dump it into basically farm that data and make it more presentable to us so we can print reports off for our clients that help us monitor performance of their farm, if that makes sense. To answer your question, in total, between vet students, undergrad students, high school students, we have over 100 days of our calendar year where there's a student riding with our doctors at our clinic.
Read about that story under the headline, Mentorship Program Attracts Students on dairystar.com. Finally, we finished today's episode in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. Continuing with the Christmas theme, Bruce and Helen Krebs decorate their farm in a unique way. After putting up a Little League baseball field next to their farm, the Krebs look for a way to use it in the winter. Bruce and his family put up some snowmen throughout the field, replicating the Little League team, with Santa standing at home plate with a bat.
The recess lights red and green. And I'd get the ladder up there and do that. And it wasn't too bad here, but like in the front porch, you got big bushes to go up. And then the boys wanted the peak of the house to have them too. Well, there's no way. So we changed them all to smart lights.
Okay.
So Justin just has to do it on his phone and we could change it. So that's pretty cool. So there's not a lot of work with that either. And it's the same way with the trees out front. We got 7 trees out front. They have, 12 different settings or whatever, but you can change them with the remote if you don't get too much snow.
Yeah.
If you get a lot of snow, then you got to go right up to them. But
Okay.
we got the boxes yet, so those, Justin and I can put those up in an hour. And we separate, when we put stuff in the greenery, we separate, these lights for the field, these lights for the driveway. So it's pretty organized. So, and like I said, we do it after chores in the morning if it's a decent day. Because, like this year, all of a sudden, if you would have waited till Thanksgiving or the day after, you'd have been, Helen thought they might melt out there, but I said, no, I don't think that. But she wanted to know if she should mow again. I said, yeah, because that's the thing. I thought, it'd be cool to put ghosts out there for Halloween or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, we'd have to move the cords to mow. Oh my gosh, it would just be a nightmare.
Right. So why go through this much effort?
A little bit because Dad, like I was saying with Dad, and then I lost my dad in November. Helen lost her dad in November. November is a tough month. It's dark, and it's just something to make winter, not so bad. We all probably have those times a year that are tough.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun to see the people drive by. So the people that know about it, and then they'll come out and they slow up real slow, and they're looking, and they bring their kids out. It's just kind of neat.
Yeah, it's funny because I was working on a tractor one day out in the front yard, and bicyclists went by, and they were talking, yeah, this is the place that puts snowmen out there on the baseball field. It's like, that was pretty funny. But I got to tell you, Dan, the best was, well, maybe not the best, but I was trudging over from the barn. It was a morning that nothing went right. A cow died on me and nothing went right. And it was like 11:30. I was trudging up the driveway for breakfast because nothing was. And I was about halfway up the driveway and someone started beeping. I thought, who the heck wants me now? Before I turned around. It was like, we all have those moments.
Say one of those days and one of those mornings, and that's one more thing.
And guy rolls down his window and he's like, I go by here twice a day for work, and it's the highlight of my drive. I just want to let you know. It's like, wow. None of us, or we're probably all guilty of never telling people they're doing a good job. So I really try and do that, because you don't know what people are going through in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And if you say something good, might really, especially like we go out to eat, and if someone's young, you could tell they're just doing it first few times you tell them they're doing a good job, and they really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Kindness can go a long way. But yeah, it's funny too, like when we have people come to repair something and we explain where we are. Oh, you're by that baseball fielder. You're by this. You're the guy with the snowman. It's like.
I was just going to say, when I tell people where we live, I'll reference, the farm with the baseball
Yeah.
field. And they're like, oh, I've been at Farm and Fleet in Watertown and checking out, and I don't know, I had to show my ID for something, and Highway VB, and she referenced the farm and she's like, we just love going by there in the wintertime. So, I'm like in Watertown, just some going through the checkout line.
Read all about that story and probably think a little spring at the same time at dairystar.com under the headline Santa Up to Bat. We'd like to thank today's sponsor, Heartland Interpretation and Translation. Heartland Interpretation and Translation partners with dairy farms throughout the Midwest by offering 24/7 access to interpreting services in over 350 languages.
Visit www.heartlandlanguage.com or call 812-499-1696 for a free quote. That's heartlandlanguage.com or 812-499-1696. Well, in the latest issue of the Dairy Star, the Our Side of the Fence feature shares how our readers spend their Christmases. Reading through some of them, it's certainly neat to see how other people celebrate, how they schedule their time for chores and set up their schedule to make the most of their day, and of course spend time with their cows at night.
This issue also celebrates our Dairy Star's Great Christmas Giveaway winners. In Zone 1, that's our Minnesota, Iowa, North Dakota, and South Dakota areas, we have 8-year-old Lane winning the calf. He will share ownership with his sister Madeline on their farm, where this brown Swiss calf is the first non-Holstein for their herd. A little color. The calf winner was Dan in Spring Grove, Minnesota. Both winners registered at Brinsaw Sales and Services Incorporated in Decorah, Iowa.
Well, in Zone 2 is our Wisconsin and Illinois section, and that winner went to 5-year-old Bailey McCormick from Tomah, Wisconsin. The Baileys started as just a herd of Holsteins, but with the addition of this brown Swiss, they now have 6 of the major milking breeds on their farm. The cash winner was Mark Carroll from Augusta, Wisconsin. Mark registered at Chippewa Farm Service in Chippewa Falls, while the Baileys registered to win at Leadstone in Sparta.
I know that our Minnesota reporter Amy Kylo had shared just her love of the story when she heard the kid. He was so excited to win the calf and to have it in his herd. So it was just so special to hear some of those kids' excitement towards the dairy industry. But here, another story takes us down to Iowa. Mark and Tom Heyer are the 4th and 5th generations on their family farm. Mark talked about how his mother remembered the trailer coming down the driveway all the way back in 1923, and how his grandfather rebuilt the barn after a barn fire took down the milking barn in 1946. The two are still milking in the same barn, as Tom is now taking over the dairy herd.
Yeah, that was a fun story I got to do, and I got to get down there and talk to Mark and Tom. Just hearing the history that they talked about within their barn was really cool. Hopefully that comes across in the story, because that was obviously my goal and one of the interesting facts of getting to talk with them. A story in the next issue also details how Sheldon and Carly Lumen are carrying on a family tradition of farming, and not just one farm, but 2. The couple, along with their daughter Jolene, live on Sheldon's home farm, where they run Lumen Family Livestock. 8 minutes away, the family also works with Carly's dad, running Pineview Farms, milking 100 cows with Carly's father, Paul Moger. Find more stories in next week's Dairy Star newspaper. Then come back to the Dairy Delivery on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts to hear more of those stories. Rate and subscribe, and if you or someone you know is interested in being featured in the Dairy Star or on Dairy Delivery, reach out to us at dairydelivery@dairystar.com so we can continue sharing all dairy all the time.